Today we're going to continue our discussion on writing linear equations. We're going to be looking at some type of word problems, not all types, but some. Before we get started, I want to refer back to lesson 2 because lesson 2 is a must. I want you to go ahead and pause the video, do this problem, and then unpause it, check your answer. If you know how to do it, you can move on. If you don't know how to do it, you need to go back and watch the lesson 2 video and then come back to this one. Go ahead and pause it now. Alright, so here's my answer. Y equals negative 2x plus 12. Again, if you didn't know what to do, go back and watch lesson 2. Now to the word problems. If we just focus on the words first. A recording studio charges musicians an initial fee of $50 to record an album. Then the cost has an additional $35 per hour of use. Write an equation that models cost as a function of time. The first thing we always want to do is look for our IV and our DV. From science, you've referred to that as your independent and dependent. We're looking for the things that can change. The things that are changing in this problem are usually right here in the last sentence. Not always, but can be fine. Write an equation that models what? Cost as a function of time. Well, time in hours is my IV, so that's my X, that's independent. Cost in dollars is my DV, so that's my Y value. You need to do this on every problem. Whenever you have a word problem, you have to define what your variables are. You could have used T and C, but people need to know what they are. So make sure you define your variables. Now it says identify any points or make a table. Well, if my table is time and cost, maybe I know what the cost is for 1 hour. Maybe I know what the cost is for 0 hours. Maybe I know what the cost is for 1 hour, 2 hours. I only need 2 of them. Well, what would be the cost for 1 hour? Well, the initial fee is $50 plus $30 per hour. So if I go 1 hour, that's $85. Well, what if I went 2 hours? That would be $35 more. So you do 85 plus 35, and that's the cost for 2 hours. Maybe you said, well, I know what the cost is for 0 hours. It's not 0. It says they charged me $50 just for wanting to do it. What's that? I don't need all 3 of them. I just need 2 of them, but I gave all 3 for an example. Some students don't always see this one right off the bat, but they can come up with these themselves. Okay? Is there a rate of change? Some of you are probably pretty good at looking for the rate of change in here. Others of you might want to go to the table and just find 2 numbers and do the rate of change. 120 minus 85 over 2 minus 1. That's 35 over 1, but we don't leave it like that. It's 35. 35 what? This was dollars per hour. Well, did you see that number anywhere? Yeah, we saw it right here. Some of you could have picked it out before I actually did this, and that is okay as well. A lot of times when you see a per hour, that's a good clue that that could be your rate of change. Anytime you see the word per, for every, for each, those are all good rate of change type clues. But it wants me to write an equation. Well, how do we write an equation? We do it just like we've been doing it. We start with slope-intercept form. Say, okay, I need a y value. I can use any y value I want. Okay, so I can use 50 equals my slope times my x, so I'm using this point right here, plus b. That's pretty easy. That's just 50 equals b. And some of you guys might have even realized that this was your y-intercept because my x value was 0. Either way, your final equation is going to be y equals 35x plus $37.50. And that is the equation that they're looking for. A couple things to refer to them as. This would be the cost per hour as your rate of change. This is a lot of times what we call the base fee or the initial cost, something that starts at the beginning before you actually start adding on anything. Then we can use this equation to answer questions like this. Find the total cost of recording an album. That would take 10 hours. Well, 10 hours is probably cheap to record, or short to record an album. You could extend this table all the way to 10, but we have an equation that helps us. 10, that is our x value. So I'm just going to do y equals 35 times 10 plus 50. And I can either do that in my head or use a calculator. But I would get y equals 400. Don't leave your answer like that. If somebody in life asked you, hey, how much would it cost to record an album for 10 hours? And you said, oh, y equals 400. That wouldn't be helpful. The answer is, it will cost $400. That's your answer right there. Okay, write answers in full sentences. Let's look at another question. A party place charges by the hour. A 2-hour party is 100 and a 4-hour party is 175. Write an equation that gives the cost as a function of hours. Again, we're looking for, is there an IV and DV? Is there an independent and dependent? What are the things that can change? Certainly the time of the party can change, and we are talking about hours. And the cost of the party can change, and we're talking about dollars. Well, this is my independent, and my cost is dependent on the time. Now, I have to either find 2 points or make a table. Again, I don't care how you do it. We got x, which is hours. And we've got our y, which is cost. Do I have any hours and the cost? Well, sure I do. I've got this guy right here. He says that a 2-hour party costs $100. So it's 2 100. And then a 4-hour party costs $175. And that's all I need. I don't need to do any more than that. I just need 2 points. Is there a rate of change? Well, I don't see any keywords like per or each, so I'm not going to do anything there. But what I can do is use my formula, my slope formula, on these 2 points right here. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. 75 over 2. Probably go ahead and divide that. 37.5. We are talking about money here, so it makes more sense to use decimals than whole numbers, perhaps, or fractions. But what does this represent? Well, this was dollars, so this is $37.50 per hour. Now, excuse me, we have to write our equation, because that's what the problem said. Write an equation. So my equation, I'm going to start with y equals mx plus b. I'm going to pick any y and x pair. I'm going to pick these two here. So 100 equals 3750 times 2 plus b. 100 equals 75 plus b. And then if you subtract 75 on both sides, you get 25. So then my final answer for the equation of the cost, y equals $37.50 x plus 25. And there's our answer. This is all the work that you need to do to get to here. It's important that you define your variables so people know what you're talking about. This is more kind of up to you. You can either find the 2 points, you can make a table. This is more just a helpful hint. This is a must, this is a helpful hint. And then finding the rate of change helps you write your equation. Again, this is our rate of change. This is cost per hour. And this is our initial cost, or our base fee. How much would a 1 hour party cost? Well, that means we just got to put hours, that's our x, so our x is equal to 1. 37.50 times 1 plus 25. 50 plus 25. When you do this, again, we don't want to leave our answer like this. If somebody asks you how much does it cost for me to run a party for 1 hour, and you say y equals 62.5, they're going to look at you strange. You have to write in words. It costs $62.50. That would be how you would respond to the person without getting any funny looks. Let's go to this one. I want you to try. Okay? When you try to define your variables, look for points or make a table, look for the rate of change, then don't forget to write your equation. Pause this video now and give it a shot. Then maybe you can unpause and just check your part A, and then pause it again and maybe move forward. So if you're not sure what to do, try to break it down the steps and just keep pausing and unpausing the video until you get through it all. Alright, I've gone ahead and done this problem. Again, hopefully you defined your variables accurately, not just what they are, but also the units. Made a table, found some points, however you want to do it. You find your rate of change. It's always good to actually describe what it is. Then find your b value to write your equation. The last thing I want you to do is think about these questions, write them out in complete sentences. Okay, this is the end of the video. Write them out in complete sentences. This will help you learn. This will help you remember things for the long term, not just the short term, because I want you to be as successful as possible on the test, and then be prepared to share your responses with somebody in class tomorrow.